What it do? We are going to go to boxing here. And I'm not going to lie, Zay, this was trending to be the headliner topic here until we got that Mikal Bridges deal.
Agreed.
Obviously, a lot to say here. So we are going to dive right into it. Ryan Garcia has gotten suspended for 1 year. Okay, we're going to dive into those things, give you a refresher on what's going on. Zay, feel free to do the honors in that and answer this question after that as well. Does Devin Haney deserve the backlash that he's getting for his legal pursuit against Ryan Garcia, which resulted in Ryan Garcia's 1 year ban?
And this is crazy because actually, I was thinking about this topic even when I read it last night, this morning. It's such a weird situation. So people at home watching who watch boxing who know the situation, I'm gonna just kind of recap real quick. Of course, Ryan beat Devin Haney. They called him with PEDs in the system. Then there was a whole situation happening.
I think that's how you pronounce it, artestosterone.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And so they found him positive. And then like last week, Boxing Kingdom on Twitter, shout out to them, they came out and said that his before and after results, his before fight and after a fight results came back negative. So he was not tested with PEDs during that time, right before the fight and right after the fight. So what the hell is going on with boxing that they're unable to accurately disclose if he was using PEDs or not? I'm confused. Is it because I don't know the verbiage? I don't have the full details and information in front of me. But for whatever reason, this Ryan Garcia kid is so polarizing that he's a false positive in PEDs. Like, how is that possible? I'm confused. Right? Did he use it or did he not? Boxing officials came and tell us the truth. Is he using or is he not using? They don't know. That's the truth. They don't know if he's using or not. They said it was a positive test that came back with the hair samples, and then they're saying, oh, well, his before and after results came back negative. So which one is it? Tell us. You gave him a year ban. You said he was tested positive, a year ban, and he had 4 different tests, and that's it. It's only a year ban. I've seen people get worse bans than that. So I'm confused what it is. I don't know what it is. Devin Haney, does he deserve backlash? Listen, the man has been acting extremely out of character since that loss. The man's confidence is completely shot. But I said this even when he lost to Loma. Well, beat Loma, but he lost to Loma.
Yeah, he lost.
He was out of character. He was acting different. His confidence is shot. And that's somebody who's insecure. And that's the person acting. All this other stuff. His dad is the mouthpiece. He's the one fighting in the ring. His father should be Don King the way he's treating his son like that. His kid is completely lost out there. Not in the ring, in the world. He's lost. He wants like the public's affection and attraction for him.
I mean, look at this dude dancing right here. I mean, you can't tell me this is not
it's a cry. It's a cry for help. That's what it is.
Literally, look at this dude right here. It's literally, Zay, you're on the money.
It's a cry for help. But then most importantly, right, and this is the most important thing, on social media, he goes out and said, I'm gonna take a year off as well. Why are you taking a year off with Ryan? What are we doing? I'm gonna take a year off with Ryan. Like, why? You got what you wish for, right? You got the ban. He's out. Go out there and win fights. Go out there and get your making money. Do your thing. You talking about now I'm going to go take a year off. You know why he's taking a year off? Because the man not selling. The man is not selling pay-per-views. So he's going to take a year off, come back and fight Ryan again. You know why? Because Ryan is box office. Ryan makes money. Devin Haney still chasing money. That is the problem. Why take a year off when you got what you wish for? You got your record back to 0. You got Ryan Garcia banned from the sport. What else you want? What you taking a year off for? That don't make sense to me. So, yes, he deserves the public backlash that he's receiving because the kid is lost. He needs to stop listening to his pops. His father's actually in the wrong right now. Yeah, I'll get me wrong. His father at one point protecting his son and protecting and talking up for him. That was one thing. But right now, he's doing a whole bunch of nothing. He's doing a whole bunch of nonsense and is affecting Devin Haney's career.
I mean, he's doing way more than LeVar Ball, when he was doing with his son. Everybody was talking about him and taking his son shine. I mean, Bill Haney made a name for himself, clearly, I'm going to touch on a few points here before I give my take. So just a little background here. The drug testosterone is not FDA approved, and it's actually banned in college football. So if any of these college athletes were to test positive for the same substance that Ryan Garcia had in his system, whether it was due to contamination or literally ill intent, whatever it was, they will be banned from college basketball or football or any of the college games, literally. So I do want us to kind of like think about that here when we are trying to, decide whether or not we should hold Ryan Garcia accountable. And before we get to Haney, because I think these athletes are in charge, or they should be in charge of their supplements. They should be in charge and know what's going in their system. And even if things were to be an accident, they're still liable, responsible for, testing positive and things of that nature. Now, in regards to Devin Haney, you know, we all know since the L, he's been in highly pursuit of trying to get the L removed, which eventually he did. So it's back to zero, even though it should have been 3 losses by now. I mean, you go back to back in the days where he paid for a loss to get removed. When you go to the Lomachenko fight, when clearly Stevie Wonder and myself saw the fight together and saw that Lomachenko won the daggone fight, okay? And obviously this one right here with Ryan Garcia. And now that's where we get to the controversy, because a lot of people was trying to decipher and question, did that have any impact on the fight? Which, to me, it didn't. But when you look at the drug and what it's intended to do, we can't sit here and say it had no advantages for Ryan Garcia. If you look at the drug and you look at what's intended to do, it could have definitely impacted the fight. However, what I would say here is, as I'm unpacking everything, we have to realize that Devin Haney is doing this because his blueprint to follow Floyd Mayweather is very important to his brand and his PR. That undefeated streak, okay, that Mayweather fought hard to keep throughout his career with his calculated approach, Devin Haney has been the closest thing to copying that blueprint of Floyd Mayweather out of anybody in boxing right now. Literally, clearly, he's watching Floyd Mayweather moves and he wants to be the next Floyd. And having that undefeated streak is very valuable to what he's trying to portray to the boxing community and all the things that he wants to accomplish. That's why he is fighting so hard to get that L removed. Okay, so we need to be mindful of that here as well. Now, when you talk about fighting Ryan Garcia in the first place, I told people he was the betting favorite to win the match. We all knew that. It was supposed to turn out with him winning that fight, clearly, by outboxing Ryan Garcia, who Ryan Garcia, say what you want, he's very one-dimensional. He has a check left hook, and he has this shoulder roll thing that's really, ugly and dangerous, but it's his form of defense. That's, Ryan Garcia was not supposed to win that match the way he did. So obviously things went off schedule. That was supposed to be a cherry pick. Ryan Garcia has one of the biggest fan bases in boxing. It was supposed to be Haney's homecoming party to boxing, saying, yes, I'm here. I just beat Ryan Garcia. He has this amount of followers on Instagram, and I am the new man. I am that dude. I am undefeated. I am the Mayweather of this generation. But things happened. That fight went, left for Haney real quickly. He got literally caught with the same shot that he should have been studying to avoid. That was his pathway to victory. And 30 seconds into the daggone fight, round one, he gets caught with that left hook, and he had no answer for it. Okay, now that's where we could go back to that conversation of, did the PEDs have an impact or not? He knew the shot was coming. He still got clipped with the shot multiple times. Okay, now when you talk about why people are defending Ryan Garcia here, because I think there's people defending Ryan Garcia a lot, and this is where we get into this conundrum for me as a boxing fan, because I'm very hard on cheaters. Obviously, I really think the penalty should be stiff, because this is boxing. This is, you could hurt somebody. It's not like other sports where you're just trying to get that competitive edge. Boxing is very dangerous, even if the intent wasn't there to do the destruction. It just so happened that supplements were contaminated with whatever. However, there are some people who believe that Devin Haney is orchestrating this behind the scenes to do this strategically. Now, obviously, I'm not in those circles, so I don't know that. I don't know if Haney is linking up with the New York State Commission and they got something underhand. Maybe it's like a Trump situation. For those of y'all who are sleeping under a rock, we all know that Trump had a bunch of felonies. Why? Because he's winning the election. Okay, you look at every major poll, Trump is leading Joe Biden by double digits, and their pathway to victory, the Democrats, and I'm using politics as an example, is to try to get him to go to jail because that's their pathway of actually winning the election. So we could, for those of y'all people, Ryan Garcia, who's defending him, it could be the same scenario in which Haney clearly lost the fight and he's doing something underhand to try to get Ryan Garcia banned, like how the president Joe Biden is trying to get Trump banned so he doesn't lose the election. If Trump wasn't running, we won't be going through this, right? And some people believe that if Ryan Garcia didn't win the fight in the magnitude he won, we won't be going through this. There's some people that believe that, and that's why I'm drawing that comparison here. For those that do, me, I am neutral in the sense that I do think Ryan Garcia needs to be held accountable for the supplements that he took, okay? Because I do believe it's contamination based on the evidence that we got so far, right? Based on what I know. There's a lot to unpack here. I could have done even more research if I wanted to, but it's so much he said, she said that I could just go off of what I got. And so, yeah, I think it was due to contamination, and I still think he should be held accountable for that, right? And I think Devin Haney is acting like a dancing Negro, idiot. Okay, look at this guy right here, like that. Literally, you got to get that fight black in blood. You should be trying to get the rematch, brother. Okay, you should get your Deontay Wilder on when he fought Tyson Fury. I want that fight. Now, we can say what we want about Deontay Wilder's excuses after the second Fury fight, with the spiking of the water, the egg in the glove, whatever, and feel how we feel about that. But Deontay Wilder did not press any charges or try to get anything removed. He said, you know what? Contractually, I have a rematch clause that I'm going to go to court to make sure I exercise because they're trying to pull out the fight. And I'm going to get this fight again in the third fight. When Miguel Cotto fought Antonio Margarito and got destroyed, he believed that Antonio Margarito cheated. And clearly, Antonio Margarito is one of the dirtiest fighters in boxing because when he fought Sugar Shane after he fought Miguel Cotto, he got caught trying to cheat before the fight, putting something in his gloves. And Miguel Cotto, I'm not sure if he went to court, but he still fought him again and destroyed him in the second fight. If Devin Haney is a fighter, all right, if he's a real true warrior, all right, then he will not even worry about trying to tear down Ryan Garcia's win or trying to get the fight or the knockout removed from YouTube. He will say, you know what? I'm going to fight Ryan Garcia again. I'll let everything play out. If they're going to suspend him, they're going to suspend him. I'm not going to pursue that. But I'm going to fight him again once he comes back. And no, what we have is him dancing. What we have is him showing the world that he's not really one of them ones. And Zay, the mic is yours.
It's unfortunate because at one point in time, John, I'm gonna read this from Kenny real quick. The PEDs had no effect. The amount found in his body was not enough to give him an advantage in the fight, and his hair samples showed that he didn't take the drug over time. It's interesting because, like I said, Boxing Kingdom came out and said that his urine test from the pre and post fight was negative of the drug, unless they didn't test it. Like whatever it is I don't understand. But Devin Haney is unfortunate because this was at one point in time I was talking about how explosive their division was. I believe at 135 was, and it was Ryan, it was Tio, it was Haney, it was Tank, it was Loma. It was a very depth division with big star talent. And over the years, it just seems like Haney's name has decreased. Now this is the headlines needs to be a part of where people are calling him out being a coward, of calling him out saying that he's lost a step or he's not who he think he is, or all these different things, right? And I don't want to keep defaming and basically tearing down these kids' confidence. Not kid, but these guys' confidence in the ring. They have a particular skill set, but a lot of it is based on the confidence of what he does, right? A lot of things in boxing is you can have the skill set, but your confidence has to be there. If you have no confidence, you're shot completely. You're not going to do anything in that ring. You'll get hurt in that ring trying to walk in there with no confidence, no matter how many skills you got, no matter how many hours you put in the gym. If you have no confidence, it's over. And it's unfortunate that like Haney is going on this barrage of just I'm gonna go through the lawsuit, I'm gonna go through this backlash, I have to take a year off for X, Y, and Z. When he comes back, I
And
feel
he
like the
vacated the belt
backlash is
too.
gonna be even worse.
And he vacated the belt too.
And he vacated the belt. So I feel like that when he comes back, when he decides to come back, whenever he does, the backlash is gonna be twice as loud. It's gonna be even worse than it is right now. And I think that's like the worst decision he's made in deciding that he's gonna take a year off. I think it's literally so bad that he needs to come back an entirely different guy. He needs to come back a freaking knockout artist at that point, because and then that's how we know he'll be definitely taking something if he does that. That'd be crazy. He'd come back a knockout artist. But the point being that he cannot do this to his own career. Whoever he's taking advice from, he needs to rather silence them or get him the hell out the camp, because right now he's only hurting himself by doing all of these different things. It's not going to be pretty when he comes back and he has to fight a Tank, or he has to fight a T.O., or he has to fight a Shakur Stevenson, or whoever it may be. It's not going to be a pretty sight when Haney decides to come back and fight. I just think that it's a disservice by his camp to allow him to make these decisions or tell them these things as if it benefits him in any way, in shape or form. It doesn't at all. It is not a good sight.
There's a couple more things that I want to hit on real quickly here. So when you look at the levels, right, of the testosterone detected in his samples, it was very low. Okay. So really, when you look at the low levels, it's really trending towards contamination. Okay. But like I said before, there's no excuses. Take a guy like Anthony Joshua for a second. This is somebody who I deem to be the model ambassador of the sport of boxing. Never popped for anything. Nothing was contaminated. No contaminated meat. No contaminated, no contaminated anything. Okay? Like no popping for anything. Anthony Joshua, a heavyweight, because we know the reason why I bring him up is because he's a heavyweight, and heavyweights get caught with a lot. We know about Jarrell Miller and his popping and multiple times, right? It goes on a lot in the heavyweight division, obviously. And he has remained clean. No contamination, nothing. These fighters are responsible. In college, you will be banned from college. Okay, athletics, if you were to test positive for testosterone. Okay, so although it could be an accident or whatever, it still has to be a level of accountability, because the same accident can happen for other fighters, and then we get to a situation where we are here again. We don't want that, right? So I think you need to make an example. Another thing too is that when you talk about I hear a lot of people talking about Jarrell Miller and what happened with him and comparing it to Ryan Garcia, and then the same thing goes on with previous infractions. I want to talk about that for a second, because I think it's very important that we realize that there's different parties handing down these suspensions, so the rules are a little bit different. For example, this fight happened in the Barclays Center, so clearly the New York State Commission is going to be the one that's going to obviously dish out the punishment, which they did. 1 year ban for Ryan Garcia, right? But take, for example, Antonio Margarito when he fought. I'm old school, by the way. Take an example of Antonio Margarito when he fought a guy like Sugar Shane, where he tried to put something in his gloves, literally tried to inflict punishment, try to end Sugar Shane Mosley's career. This happened in California. The California Commission gave him a 1 year suspension. Same thing as Ryan Garcia, who you can make the argument the intent wasn't there to do harm. Now, 1 year, trying to do harm, the intent wasn't there. Why is the suspension the same? That's because that was California, and that because this was New York. So I think what boxing needs, and it goes back to me drumming this, 1,000 times off and on air, is structure of having, these commissions, be consistent when it comes to punishment for certain infractions, so this way we won't be all over the place, because I think it's very important, and boxing doesn't have that structure. But Zay, if you want to respond to that, I got one more point that I'm gonna bring up, but go ahead if you want to respond to that.
And that's and I hope this is a learning point with everything with boxing. We've been saying it's a dying sport for a while. There's a reason, because the officials have no idea what the hell is going on. Then they're not on top of things. They just worry about the profits. They worry about money, and they don't care about anything else, right? They just I feel like they just make it up as they go along. At this point, they just don't know what's going on. They have, like you said, no structure, no set of rules, no guidelines, or anything. And I hope that Saudi Arabia, like they were talking about really buying all these promotions and making a boxing league, and I hope they do, and I hope they make it a formalized thing so that people can have a set of structured rules. What's gonna happen? What's gonna be this? What this league's gonna be about? Because right now, I feel like everyone's just going on a fly. Like if it's in a contract, that's it. That's what it is. And it's like nobody's really understanding of what it means for these type of infractions. Like this is serious. Like in any other league, right? In any other sports league and things of that nature. You're getting serious bans, serious fines. It takes away your money. There's a lot of different aspects of this thing. And I just feel like promoters and everything else, there's not the same mindset. It's just like, as long as I'm getting my money, I'm cool. I'm chilling. Outside of that, it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, so in regards to that, because like I said, there's a lot of information that we are getting. And sometimes that information or the true information is not coming through unless you're really digging in a nail in a haystack. If it came down to him not submitting the list of supplements that he used, right, then that's more indicative on his part. You would think that would be more like, yeah, Ryan Garcia. There's a reason.
Savada, but not to NY. So NYSec.
So that's opening up another can of worms. That obviously we here for the topic. We can dive into that, but that would just kind of like throw me off of my route where I'm going, which I don't want to do right now. Now I do think. And it's not because, like I said, I got to verify, all those things, right? Because I'm not going to like hear information and not react to it. I don't have no agendas here. But, obviously I do want to stay the course until obviously proven otherwise. But I think for me, Ryan Garcia could still fight. I want people to realize that, like, he can box still, just not in the States. So if he wants to link up with the Saudis, who obviously have come and taken an interest in boxing and obviously putting on mega shows overseas in Saudi Arabia, he can link with the Saudis. He could take a page out of Devin Haney's book. We all know Devin Haney was trying to hug up the Saudis and be there. I mean, this guy literally, Haney, I feel sorry for the man because he's starving for fame. He's starving, to be that next Mayweather that he's kissing everybody but. Right, we saw him at Saudi Arabia with Turkey and all that, just kissing ass, right? Kiss it till you make it, right? And he's one of those guys. I'm sorry, it is what it is. I think Ryan Garcia could take the page out of Devin Haney's book, and I don't think he needs to on that type of level because he is a star. He is a dude that has a following, so I don't think there's, no feet that he got to kiss. He's Ryan Garcia. If he wants to fight, there should be opportunities for him to fight, and he can link up with the Saudis. Do something in Saudi Arabia, have him make a fight or tune-up fight or whatever. And then once the year suspension is over, he could go back to being Ryan Garcia. Those followers are not going away. Those guys are not going to unfollow because he's suspended for a year. Half of these guys ain't even boxing fans that's following him. So at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia got it made. Haney wants to be where Ryan Garcia is at. That's what he's starving for. And I just hope that he just goes back to the basics, being a fighter that's very clever and smart, who has one of the best jabs in the sport, and who's willing to fight anybody by any means. Not this, I'm trying to, starve for fame. I want this undefeated streak. It should never be about being undefeated. That mindset should be done with. Who cares about that? It should be fighting guys that's going to test you. It should be having a warrior's mentality that if I get knocked down 3 times, I don't care what he's on. I mean, clearly we do care about what he's on, but to get knocked down in that type of fashion multiple times, there's something wrong with you. That's not testosterone right there. That knocked you down 3 times. That's Devin Haney. Your chin is suspect, brother. Okay, that's your chin is suspect, brother. Okay, and he don't want to acknowledge that. Some of the boxing fans don't want to acknowledge that. And I ain't by no means defending Ryan Garcia. I'm not defending nobody here. I'm calling him out. He has to know what he's putting in his system. He has to know his supplements. I'm not defending, clearly, Devin Haney either, right? I'm just giving you reason.
Yep.
And that's my thoughts on the topic.
Last particular point I have on this topic is, actually, it's more of a question. It's not really a point. It's a question. What is Devin Haney's next step, like in your eyes? Like it just unbiased, like outside of like once the year is done, and whatever he does with this lawsuit, what is his next goal? What is his next step? Because it's like, who is gonna be at the level he's at when he comes back in a year from now. That he's gonna fight. Does he automatically get the top contender, the guy with the belt, the number one guy, or does he have to earn his way back into the fold of becoming that number one contender, becoming that championship fighter? Is he still a championship fighter a year from now?
I think Devin Haney needs to build himself back up, because you're not going to just have this loss removed and people forget about it. It's removed from everybody's brains. It's not. I remember what I saw happen. This brother got destroyed. We got to call a spade a spade. He got destroyed, right? And that testosterone is, to me, it had very little to no impact on the fight. To me. And this is just me, my opinion here, right? And a lot of people, they're going to remember that image, right? Because it's going to be there. And even if they take it down on YouTube, somebody's going to put it back up. Okay? Like, we are going to remember that image. The reason why I bring that up is because when you lose a fight in that magnitude, you have to build yourself back up, because if you try to jump in to another mega fight, you're probably not going to sell, right? If you try to, you know what I'm saying? Because you have to build yourself back up. Obviously, before this whole thing transpired, or as it was transpiring, him and Sandor Martin was supposed to be the fight. And I believe there was something that I read along the lines of, and don't quote me here, that the split was more closer than what it would have been before the loss to Ryan Garcia. That's because his stock had took a hit. So I think with Haney, what he needs to do is build back that equity that he was building and try to get the fans won over again, and then jump right into that mega fight that he could be potentially looking for, like a Tank Davis or Teofimo Lopez, etc., etc. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Let me see what my guy Kenny. Yeah, I mean, he vacated the belt, so a lot of people is gonna draw that correlation. I mean, listen, man.
Actually, Devin Haney, you know what's funny? I would be interested to see if Loma goes after that.
I mean, I'm not sure if Loma's gonna move up. I doubt that. I think Loma, he has the opportunity with Tank. I think that's gonna be very likely. I think I'm gonna say in advance, in negotiations, but they are in negotiations. So I think that's a bigger payday. And if he wins that fight, that's gonna be an opportunity to catapult him back to the top of the division. Yep. And then maybe he might pursue that. Who knows? Yep. But yeah, I don't know, man. Devin Haney got to get his act together. I mean, I'm looking at this clip, this little picture here from this video of him buck dancing. I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. You've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.